Don't you worry, don't you cry. I can promise it gets better in time. Keep your head up.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kayla. If you are new here, I make YouTube videos on faith, motherhood, and lifestyle. So if you are interested in viewing life through the lens of a married millennial mom, then please consider subscribing. So today's video is going to be a kitchen organization video. I'm really excited about this video because I believe it's going to help some people who are renting or who may live in a house with a more dated kitchen. So the cabinets here as well as the fridge are super dated, but that did not stop me from organizing this kitchen and making it super functional for me and my family. Some of the shelving in the cupboards and the cabinets actually could not move, so I'm going to show you all how I was able to configure some of the shelving and then work with what I had with the other shelving. This place also did not come with a pantry, and I'm going to show you all my solution that I came up with for that. And I also organized the fridge. I'm going to show you guys how TikTok made me organize my refrigerator. I really hope you enjoy it because I enjoyed actually doing it. And I find now that I'm actually really enjoying this kitchen more now that I've organized it and it has a better flow to it. I have to be honest with you, I avoided this kitchen at all costs when we first moved in here because I hated it. I hated the white cabinets. I hated the refrigerator. I still hate the refrigerator, but it is what it is. This kitchen takes care of me and my family, and I'm thankful for it. But there are some things that I wish were more updated. So, but now that I've organized it, I find that I actually enjoy it more. So hopefully you all too can walk away with some organizational tips that will help you enjoy your small kitchen too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, the first thing we are going to tackle is the fridge. I took everything out of the fridge and then reorganized it, then cleaned it out, of course. All of the containers and items that you see for the organization portion of the fridge, I found at HomeGoods for a really good price. Amazon does have a lot of good items, but I find that they're overpriced. So I would try HomeGoods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, places like that first. And then Target also has some really good pieces too that are more affordable. And then as a last result, if you can't find what you're looking for, then I would definitely check out Amazon. You see me placing these eggs in this container. I went back and forth in my mind on whether or not this was a good buy because honestly, you still keep your eggs in a container. It's taking up the same amount of space, but I guess for the aesthetics, it was cute. I also found a really cool can organizer that I also use in my cabinets to store canned goods. You'll see some of that later. And then I used a few of these bins that I found at Target to organize some of my drinks. I also found that pouring out some of the liquids that we have, like juices and milks and things like that, into smaller containers takes up less space in the fridge, and it honestly just looks better, has a better flow in there, and it doesn't feel as cluttered. So I highly recommend. This is a container that I found to hold our fruit. We go through grapes like no one's business, guys. My kids love grapes and strawberries. So this container is actually really big and fits the whole bag of grapes in it. And I believe that it keeps my grapes fresher for longer. So 10 out of 10 recommend that. Now these containers for the milk, I did purchase these on Amazon because I couldn't find anything in store that I felt could store my milk well enough in the fridge. These hold, I would say, half a gallon each. So to have a whole gallon of milk, you would need 2 of them. Granted, me and my boys, we don't drink milk, but my husband does. So we keep usually about half a gallon to a gallon of milk. So I figured I'd just keep that in that container, and it just looks better in the fridge. And then this is an overview of how everything came together. Again, this is a super dated fridge. I hated it so much when we first moved in here, but I hate it a lot less now that it's organized and has a better flow to it. Now we're tackling underneath the sink. You'll just see me cleaning out. There's not much I could do under here because it's a very small and awkward space, but I was able to find a 2-tier organizer at a store called Tuesday Morning, and that just helps me take advantage of the vertical space underneath there. And I also placed a few Lazy Susans, you'll see that as well. And I was also able to take advantage of the storage on the door by hanging a small basket there. So you'll see me placing all of that, but all of the items that I found for my under the sink organization, I believe was purchased at Target or Tuesday Morning. out of all of the items that I purchased to organize my kitchen, this is probably my second favorite. This is a pot organizer, and like I stated, the cabinets in this kitchen are kind of weird. Some of the shelving moves and some of it did not. Where I stored my pots and pans, it was kind of like on the lower half, and those shelves could not move, and they were very steep, like they went back super far. So all of my pots and pans would be at the back of the cabinet, and I would literally have to crawl on my hands and knees to retrieve pots and pans and items that I needed every day to cook. So I had to move the pots and pans to a shelf that was above, and I was able to take out the middle shelf to store this item. So I found this on Amazon, and actually my mom purchased this for me. Shout out to mom. She purchased this for me, and she actually purchased two. So I have two pot sets, and I was able to store one in the cabinet, and then the other one I ended up placing in my laundry room just to store the other pot set that I don't use as often. Now this is the cabinet where I originally stored my pots and pans, and guys, it goes back so far. So I just decided to keep my baking sheets there and try to keep them on the edge of the cabinet space. This is how the pot organizing system looked in the cabinet, and I actually really enjoy it. It's super easy to grab things as I need to cook, and I can store everything with the lid on it. So that made it really convenient. These two items I also found on Amazon. They come with this little sticker on the back. So it's like a self-adhesive thing. You just slide it onto the shelf, and then that back piece kind of adheres to the bottom of the shelf, and it does not damage your shelves at all. It's almost like a command strip. So you just slide that on, and I thought that was super convenient. This is probably comes in at number 3 of the list of favorite items that I've purchased for the kitchen. I thought it was super easy, super convenient, and super affordable. So I highly recommend, and I'll be linking this down below in the description box. I had planned on keeping my Ziploc bags in that area, but they wouldn't fit. The box was way too square or too high. You could take them out of the box and just store the plastic bags in there, but I decided to put the aluminum foil there since that's also where my pots and pans are. Now, the depth of this cabinet made it hard to close the door, so I had to put the aluminum foil at a slant, which is no big deal, but it's something that I thought I would mention to you all. Here is an overview of how that cabinet now looks. I also decided to keep all of the Tupperware up there at the top, as well as that spare milk container, and I really enjoy how this worked. It's super functional. Now, coming in at number 1 as my favorite item for the kitchen organization is this small pantry. I believe this is made by KitchenAid, and I found it at Target when I was perusing the aisles. This townhome did not come with a pantry, and I never realized how much I needed a pantry to store like all of the snack items for my boys until we didn't have a pantry. This resolves that issue 110%. I decided to organize it just for their snacks. So at the top you'll see like some smaller containers, and the containers for like their cereal and pretzels, and those items I purchased at Home Goods. And you can also purchase them at stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls, like I mentioned. So don't feel like you have to get them online. They're a lot more expensive, I find, online. But I had so much fun organizing this little pantry. And this is the second container that I was talking to you about that I found on Amazon. This is where I ended up keeping my Ziploc bags, which worked out perfectly because most of the time when I'm giving my boys their snack, such as like their pretzels or their goldfish, I usually put them in a Ziploc bag. So it's a lot easier to just grab them out of that container. Now in the video you'll see me placing with the box in. You can definitely do that, but I ended up taking them out of the box and just putting the Ziploc bags in there because it saved a lot more space, and I could fit a lot more Ziploc bags in that way. I'm just giving you guys an overview of all of the small containers that I used to organize this pantry. We keep our waters in like back stock items or backup items of some of their favorite snacks down at the bottom. Moving on to the spice cabinet, we didn't make too many changes here, but we did organize it just a bit. I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to get the really cute aesthetic containers to like store all of the seasoning in, But I decided against it because I'm not the only one that uses this kitchen. My husband really enjoys cooking, like he loves to cook. And I knew that it would be annoying for him to have to read through all of the labels. Like many of us, I'm sure when he goes through the seasoning, he kind of goes by the labels. Like we're just used to looking at the logos and knowing what seasoning is what. So I feel like it would have annoyed him to come home and find that all of the seasonings now look the same and he has to take the time to read them. So I decided against it. No regrets. I did end up purchasing a tiered organization items to go in here though, because it helps to take up more of the vertical space and I could store more seasonings on each level. And it also helped because I don't know about you guys, but without this thing, whenever we would dig for seasonings and stuff, they would always fall out of the cabinet because the one we needed somehow always ended up in the back. So this helped negate that issue, and I highly recommend, even if you don't get all of the cute aesthetic jars, which is such a vibe and I really love looking at those, to at least try the tiered organization because it does help a lot. Alright, and the last area that I tackled in this kitchen was the cabinet that I keep most of our canned goods in. I just added a can organizer. It's the same exact one that you saw me place in the fridge for the LaCroix drinks. I use that same can organizer for my canned goods. I also put a small bin in there just to group together like the jelly and the almond butter that we use. My boys really enjoy peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so I put those there, and then I just kind of organized the rest of it. I didn't add too many containers to this cabinet because I found that it did not need them. Alright guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed organizing this kitchen. I will say that this was done over a course of a couple of weeks. All of these items were not purchased at one time. So I do recommend living in this space before just filling it with a bunch of items and trying to force everything to fit. But other than that, I really enjoyed this. It actually made me appreciate my space a lot more. And I hope you all walk away with some ideas on how you can better improve or utilize your own small kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.